What's up, everybody? It's kind of dark in here. See if I can fix that. Hold on one second. Okay, that seems better. We're keeping it casual tonight, streaming from the couch. Got the Monday night game on the television. Frank is sleeping in his bed right over there. He needs to be fed, and we'll do that after we stream. Wait for some people to slide on in here. I just tweeted it out, so we should get some people in here soon. Tonight we're drinking Newcastle Brown Ale, a British classic. I don't know if we've got any UK residents in the chat. It is known as a Nuki Brown overseas, a Nuki Brown. Now, that's what my British friends called it when we used to work together at summer camp in Maine. Nuki Brown. All right, I'm going to tweet this out and then we can get going. I figured everyone has probably either watched the game, seen the highlights, read up on the game, whatever it was. So we'll do a little bit different tonight. We won't go into like a full recap. We'll just get right into questions. Let me know. You guys can hear me in the chat? Let me know in the chat if you can hear me. All right. For those who missed it, we're drinking Nuki Brown tonight. Newcastle Brown Ale. Just a delicious beer. Refreshing. Might do a little 2-beer stream here. Not sure. Looking rugged. Yeah, this is the Monday look right here. Full grout fit, got the gray sweats on, hat. This is Monday grinding. Very little sleep last night. All right. Seems like people are rolling in. So let's get to some questions. Let's just get right into the Q&A. So throw those questions in the chat while you guys are getting your questions in. Black Friday deal at The Athletic started today. Runs for the next week. All right. The best deal you will get if you are not subscribed to The Athletic. Now, all those subscribers in the chat can let the people that don't subscribe, let them know that it's worth it. Let them know about my content. If you aren't subscribed, you can get a year subscription to The Athletic for $1 a month. And we can do a little math here. That is $12 for the year. You spend more than that a month on a cup of coffee from Starbucks. All right. So if you have not subscribed and you've been holding out, now's the time. Link below. Those are my takeaways from the game. You click that link, you get $1 a month for a whole year. Now's the time. Jump on in, join us at The Athletic. I'm churning out 4 stories every week, every single week through the season. We got our post-game takeaways. We do our final thoughts, which is everything you need to know off the game, bunch of stats, quotes, everything between the takeaways after the game and the final thoughts. You get everything you could possibly want to know about every single Chargers game. I do a film review midweek. I do mailbags every Friday. That's not even including all of the features that I write, the deep dives that I do. And then we get into the off season. We got free agency. We got the draft. I'm all over all of that stuff. People in the chat can tell you they already subscribed. I work really hard to give you guys the best Chargers content on the internet. So if you like these streams, I promise you my writing is even better than the streams. So click that link and get the deal. $1 a month, 12 months. All right. That's my sales pitch. We've got that out of the way. For those of us who are in here now, we're doing a little casual stream. We're doing it from the couch tonight. Got the game on. Not our usual official post-game Hops with Pop, but we want to get some questions in here, get some answers. Like I said at the top, for those that are just popping in here now. I'm sure most of you have, watched the game and seen the highlights or whatever. So we're not going to get into a full recap. We're just going to hop right into questions. So let's do it. Yeah, let me know also in the chat. Shout me out with what you're drinking tonight. Little Monday 5:30 happy hour beer. Let me know what you're drinking. I see a Lagunitas Hazy Wonder. All right, let's get right into questions. So what's up with Asante? This is a pretty concerning situation. Asante Samuel Jr. suffered another concussion last night. He took a knee to the helmet trying to make a tackle. It is his second concussion in the last 4 weeks. Suffered that concussion against the Patriots, was out week 9. Wait, am I have this right? Hold on, let me look up. I might be misremembering. Maybe it was the Eagles game. Hold on, let me look it up. Yeah, I was right. So New England game, he suffered the concussion, missed the Eagles game, came back against Minnesota, and then last night suffered another concussion. So 2 concussions in 4 weeks. Not good. We talked to Joey Bosa today, who had 2 concussions last season, and he said that when he was talking to neurologists, they told him that 3 concussions in rapid succession in a short period of time can force you to retire. So once you suffer that second one in a close period of time, a short period of time, right? Then you start really having to deal with the situation and be really careful with how you deal with that type of injury. A third concussion in a short period of time can be really bad news. So they're gonna. We talked to Brandon Staley today. He told us that it's way too early to make any determinations, but I would not expect Asante Samuel Jr. to be back on the field anytime soon. It's just a really unfortunate situation, but you got to take care of your brain. And so he's in a difficult situation here where he's had a second concussion in 4 weeks. So what that means for the Chargers moving forward is Devon Campbell is going to see a lot of action here as a second outside corner. Obviously, he's had his ups and downs this season. He struggled against the Vikings, which I wrote about. Those subscribers to The Athletic, I did a film review of how the pass defense sort of stumbled in that game, and a lot of it was centered on mistakes made by Devon Campbell. But he's going to be a big part of this defense moving forward with Asante Samuel Jr. having suffered another concussion. A really unfortunate situation for the rookie because he's been playing some excellent football so far this season. Bengals Chargers game, does that get flexed to Sunday night? What's the Sunday night game that week? Let's look it up. So Chargers Bengals is week 13. Week 13. Maybe someone in the chat is telling me, but I'm looking this up on the internet right now. All right, so week 13, we have Niners Seahawks, which is not a particularly good game. I think it's in the conversation. Obviously, 2 teams that are vying for playoff spots, 2 exciting young quarterbacks, 2 good offenses. So I think that would make sense. I have to dig into the specific rules as far as flexing games to give you a definite answer on that. But from what I understand and what I've seen so far, I think it's in the conversation. And obviously, based on how Justin Herbert is playing and what he does in primetime games, like I would be trying to get that guy on national television as much as possible. And you saw that this year, right? Monday night game, Sunday night game. Obviously, you get a Thursday night game every year. All home games at SoFi Stadium. So Frank's freaking out right now. So, I think it would be in the league's best interest to get Justin Herbert on national television. So we'll see. I'll have to get back to you on the specifics of that, though. What's going on, buddy? Huh? You want to come say hi to the stream? Hold on. I'm going to get Frank up here. Okay. Okay, bud. Frankie has joined the stream. Say hello to everybody. Hi. Good boy. All right. He's a snuggle monster, and he just needs human contact. All right. We got, what did Herbert say about the Cam Hayward situation? Justin, in classic Justin fashion, was very cordial. He said, whatever happened in the heat of the moment, no worries. Said he respected him as a player. And he said, I'm sure if he sees, Cam Hayward at any point down the road, that, it would all be perfectly fine. Let me see if I can get you the full quote. Hold on. Probably have it here in my transcripts. All right. Here's his full quote. So Fernando asked him if he thinks the hit was dirty, and Justin said, "No, I haven't really seen it. He's a tough player. Football's an emotional game. Whatever happened, happened in the game. We'll shake hands and say good game after the game." So, that's how Justin Herbert operates. He's never going to be the center of attention when it comes to something like that. He's going to be mature and composed, and I think you saw that in how he reacted after the play, and then also what he said after the game. Someone says, I believe that they have until tomorrow to decide if SNF will be flexi. Yeah, I'll look into that after I get off the stream with you guys, and I'll tweet it out. So stay plugged into my Twitter. Joe Reedy is really on top of that stuff. I don't know if he's tweeted about it before, but he's very plugged into all that, TV broadcast stuff. But I'll dig into it after we get off the stream. How do you think Asante's absence is going to affect the defense against the Broncos next week? I mean, Tavon Campbell, like I said, is going to be playing a massive role, so he's got to step up and just find more consistency. And the one thing I will add is that Michael Davis really did not have a very good game in his first game back. He had a couple busted coverages, and I know a lot of you guys were tweeting about that after the game at me, just how could the defense have played a good game when they gave up all those busted coverages? I felt like holding them to that field goal at the end, the stop at the end, they really only gave up 2 touchdown drives that weren't in sudden change situations. So that's why I felt the defense played well. The run defense really stepped up with all those defensive linemen out. But Michael Davis really struggled, and we've talked about this in the stream. I know I've written about it, on The Athletic. He's just inconsistent. And they gave him that contract, but I was always worried, I didn't think he could really get to a number one corner level because he's just inconsistent, whether it's in coverage or as a run defender. So that popped up in this game. And so, Sante Samuel Jr. has been their most reliable corner this year. So losing him is a big deal. And then you have Tavon Campbell and Michael Davis, who both have played good games and played at a high level at various points this season, but both of them tend to have some inconsistencies in their game and coverage, particularly. So that's a big deal. Asante Samuel Jr. being out is a big deal. And so you're going to have to get elevated play from Tavon Campbell and from Michael Davis if you're going to, fix some of these explosive play issues, some of these past defensive issues that have popped up over these last 5 games or so. What? Hello. Everyone's watching you, Frank. Yeah. Okay. He's hungry for dinner. All right, let's keep rolling. Do you think the Chargers will look at free agent DTs not during the season? Potentially in the offseason. I think that they'll probably focus on the defensive line in the draft. That's my guess. What is up with Joe Lombardi's offensive game plan failures? I don't know what that even means. They put up 41 points. Like, what more do you want out of the offense? Justin Herbert threw for 380 yards, 3 touchdowns, ran for 90 yards. Austin Eckler scored 4 touchdowns. Like, what do you guys want? Sitting here and you've got one of the most efficient offenses in football, and you're saying fire the coordinator, offensive game plan failures. I don't know what to tell you at this point. I mean, anyone who watches these streams knows how I feel about the offense. Have they had their poor moments? Absolutely. But it's still a really efficient offense. You saw it Sunday against the Steelers, and I know they were missing players, but how can you expect or desire a better offensive performance than that? And it wasn't like the Chargers had all these short fields. I mean, they didn't force a turnover. So the offense had to drive the length of the field time after time after time. You give no credit to Joe Lombardi for what the offense did yesterday? None? That doesn't make sense to me. All right, let's keep rolling here. Any new update on Bulaga? No. Those who subscribe to The Athletic know I wrote about Bulaga in my mailbag. I wrote then that I'm not convinced he's going to be back this season. That's where I'm at with it. We'll see what happens. I think he's still pretty far away from even being in the conversation of returning. He's gotten back on the field and is working out with the medical staff. But this is a guy whose body is breaking down, plain and simple. When he's on the field, he's played well. The problem is he can't stay on the field. That's the issue and the risk you run when you sign an aging offensive lineman like him. It's a back issue. It's a core muscle issue. It's his body is breaking down at this point. And he had surgery. The back issue was a significant thing last year that affected his play and affected other parts of his body because he was overcompensating. It was still an issue in training camp this year. It wasn't a thing. It was a chronic issue that he wasn't going to be able to fix entirely, and they tried to put together a plan to help the back out, and it didn't come to fruition. He ends up hurting his core muscle and needs surgery, and I would not rely on Brian Bulaga coming back this season. I would get used to Storm Norton starting at right tackle. That's where I'm at with it. All right, now I lost my spot. Oh, here we go. How long until Parham is tight end one? It could be next season. Like, we talk about players that have ascended this season. Kaiser White playing out of his mind right now. I think Nas Adderley has taken a big step this season. I think we've seen the development that was necessary from him to get this defense playing pretty well. And the third guy, if we're going offense and defense, is Donald Parham. I mean, he has been a revelation this year, and they need to get him the ball more. Now, I know he had that drop in the game. That was a bad drop, but route running, athleticism, his ability to create after the catch at that size, and on top of that, his blocking. I mean, this guy was a liability as a blocker last year. And I remember going back to training camp last year when Anthony Lynn was working with him one-on-one because it was that important. They felt like that he had that kind of potential to try and improve his blocking. And he had a rough go in training camp during the one-on-ones when he was going up with linebackers in the pass blocking drills. He has grown substantially in that area, and it is very impressive to the point where they can utilize him as a weapon, as a blocker in the run game and as a chipper in the pass game. He is developing right now into a complete tight end. And I think that it is certainly on the table and a possibility if he keeps ascending at this rate that they could just move on from Jared Cook, let him walk in free agency, and elevate Donald Parham to that number one tight end role. Steven Anderson has played really well this season. And then Trey McKitty is coming on. He caught his first career pass in that game Sunday. He's shown a lot of juice as a blocker, a lot of a lot of physicality in that area. And so they got a nice young trio of tight ends behind Jared Cook. And I think they're pretty set in that area if they did want to move on from Cook this offseason, which I think is likely at this point. But we'll see. We'll see if, where Cook's at. He could want to retire. He's 35 at this point. So a lot of moving parts with that situation. But I think Parham at this point has sort of proven that he can be that guy. He can be a number one tight end for this team, and that's primarily because of what he's done as a blocker in terms of improving in that area, but also just what he's able to do after the catch. And Brandon Staley has talked about that, right? He said, like, I didn't think this guy was going to have those kinds of movement skills and ability to create after the catch just because he's so big. He's 6'8", in between 6'8" and 6'9". You don't see a lot of guys that can move that well at that size, but you saw it on a couple touchdowns this year where he's making guys miss on flat routes and really showing some juice in that area. So, Donald Parham has been a bright spot in terms of the Chargers developmental program this year. COVID issues with the Chargers going to blow up with Joseph being everywhere and with contacts everywhere. I don't know if it's going to blow up. There's certainly a situation happening with the Chargers organizationally right now in terms of a COVID outbreak. Um, we'll see what happens. It's obviously something to monitor. Um, I think Linval Joseph testing positive is obviously a big deal because he's unvaccinated, and that means according to league protocols that he has to be out for 10 days minimum. The earliest he can come back is 10 days from now, which would be Thursday or Wednesday or Thursday of next week. So he's going to miss this Broncos game. And so that's a big deal because Christian Covington and Jerry Tillery are already on the COVID list. And listen, these young defensive linemen stepped up. I mean, you have to tip your cap to Joe Gaziano, who played a hell of a game, Braden Fajoko, who played a hell of a game, Forrest Merrill, who showed up and played significant snaps. Justin Jones played 81% of the snaps. That cannot be overlooked because I don't know if they can succeed in run defense the way they did without Justin Jones. So I know those guys stepped up, but you cannot operate week to week with that kind of depth and that much inexperience on the field. And so it's a situation right now. It's a situation. I don't know if it's going to blow up like our question asker said, but definitely a situation. Do you expect Herbert to run a lot more now? No, it was really dictated by what the Steelers were doing defensively. They played a ton of man coverage and just did not account for Justin Herbert as a runner, which was, um, you know, poor game planning from the Steelers, frankly. Um, so I don't know if he's going to get many more opportunities to do that in a game, just because I think a lot of teams now will be playing coverages where they're accounting for Justin Herbert as a runner. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. I think now teams are keenly aware of what he can do if you do not account for him. And that's just another thing that opposing defenses are going to have to plan for, and it could help open up things elsewhere in the passing game. Yeah. All right, let's get some more questions. Is Murray injured? Fidel asks. Yeah, he rolled his ankle early in the game, which is why he only played 15 snaps. Um, Talking to Brandon Staley today, he said that he was really impressed with some of the reps that Kenneth Murray had at edge on some of the stunts that they were running. They really had a creative pass rush plan just because of all of the defensive linemen they were missing. So I'm really excited to actually dive into the tape on that and see what specifically they were doing with some of those games and stunts up front to free up Joey Bosa, to free up Uchenna Nwosu. Um, but yeah, that was more injury related. I guess he rolled his ankle, which we saw. We saw him limping off the field. I didn't see the specific play where he did it. Kaiser White extension on the horizon. I think absolutely Kaiser White is playing himself into a very lucrative extension. I think I ballparked it in the mailbag. You guys can check me on this, but I think I ballparked it at like 8-9 million a year. Um, that's around where I think he'll end up if he keeps playing at this level. Like he's playing outstanding football. Like he is a big reason why the Chargers run defense has improved. He's flying around the field. He's fitting the run up well. He's playing well in coverage. He's forcing turnovers. He is the best linebacker on the team by a considerable margin. And he is absolutely playing himself into a contract extension. Yeah, that was, I think Steven asked that question. He's saying guilty as charged. 3 for 35. I think that's what it was. Yeah, it was like around, yeah, 3 for 35 would be, no, that'd be a little, that's a little much. 3 for 35 would be like almost 12 million. I think I had it at like 8-9. 8-9 makes sense to me. I was looking at you just gauge it based on similar contracts. I'm pulling up my mailbag now. I thought I wrote it in here. Yeah, I can't find it right now, but yeah, that's what I think. Around 8, 9 million. Yeah. Oh, there you go. Andrew says 4 years, 32. Yeah, it's 8 million a year. Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. It was the right. It was the live chat on. It was a live chat we did on Wednesday, which is another thing you get with a subscription. Live Q and A's, which I hadn't been doing as good of a job of this year, so I apologize. I should do more of those. Just a lot of stuff to do. Yeah, 4 years, 32. That sounds about right. Kazir's playing incredible football right now, and really impressive what the coaching staff has been able to get out of him. Obviously Brandon Staley, Ronaldo Hill, but also Mike Wilhoit, the linebackers coach, deserves a lot of credit for the way Kaiser is playing right now. So someone asked, keeping Parham next year. Yeah, he's a early rights free agent, so they'll sign him to a tender, and he'll be back. Yeah, for sure. Oh man, Josh says he missed the live chat. I feel like Josh, you're always tweeting me about the live chats. We'll have to do another one soon. Maybe we'll. Yeah, I'll try and do them more regularly over the rest of the season because I know you guys like that. And it's good. It's nice to get in there and answer every single question. Um, so I'll try and do more of those work meeting. I'm sorry, man. All right, we'll do another one soon. Um, I think that's the time I would do it at though. It would usually be Wednesday at 11 a.m. just based on when availability is. Uh, so we'll try and do those more regularly over the rest of the season. Did Jerry Tillery get Wally Pipp? No, he's going to be back in the starting lineup when he comes back. Bosa at DT and Murray, Nwosu Fackrell on the edge. Yeah, they've been doing that a lot with like sort of like a speed package where they have three edge rushers in the field, and that way Joey can rush over the guard. They did it on the final possession when Joey got that big sack. That was with him on the interior. So I don't know if it's necessarily him playing defensive tackle, but it's just setting him up over the guard. And if Joey Bosa is one on one with the guard, he will dominate. I mean, that's a sack pressure every single time. Yeah, the D stepped up huge on that final drive. Like I think that was their most dominant possession of the season. Um, they iced the game. So and listen, guys, like I get a lot of negativity. And I love to interact with you guys. We do these live streams. We do. We interact on Twitter and all that kind of stuff. And I know that like people are louder. The negative people tend to be the loudest, right? But the Chargers are 6-4 right now. They are in the mix. They are beating good teams. They have a superstar quarterback. They're fun to watch. Like, can't you guys just get excited about that? Like, it's year one of a new head coach, and they're 2 games above 500. Like, the flip side of this coin is that so many teams out there are searching for a coach or searching for a quarterback and are living in misery, right? And here are the Chargers with a legit head coach. Legit head coach. I mean, this guy is the smartest football person I've ever talked to. He teaches me something every single time I'm in a press conference. I sit there and I ask him questions, and I'm not even necessarily doing it for a story. I'm doing it so that I can learn about football. This guy has it. The quarterback is a stud. They have excellent pieces on the defensive side, and I think this defense is going to improve as they get more guys in the building through the draft, through free agency that are more tailored to the scheme. Once they improve the talent on that side of the ball, you've got a real team here. But even with some of these roster weaknesses, they're 6-4 and they're in the mix. And like, just get excited about the team, right? Like, trust me, I've covered a lot of bad football in my life. That's all I've ever covered. I'm 28 years old. I've been doing this my entire professional life. I've never covered an NFL playoff game, ever. I've never come close to covering an NFL playoff game. I went from the awful Jets to the awful Jaguars to 2 years of mediocrity with the Chargers. And this is the first year that I'm entering late November and I'm actually able to cover a relevant team. Like, this is not easy. It's not easy to get here. It's not easy to win games in the NFL, right? And the Chargers have a ton of potential right now with what they can do. Maybe they're not winning the Super Bowl this year, but they're building something here. I'm telling you, they're building something. This feels different, right? So I get it. I know you guys are going to be in rough shape after losses, and I'm here. I'm the lightning rod. I'll answer your questions. We're going to do these streams every single week, right? But I would just ask you guys to try and keep that perspective. After games, go ahead. Be miserable if it's a loss. But as we move through the week, try and have that perspective because it's not every year that you're in the mix. It's just not. And you guys know this well. If you have supported this team, it's hard to be in this position. 2 games over 500 in the playoffs heading into late November, right? So keep that in perspective. Michael says that I'm saying this guy. That happens. That happens when you're around people too much and you hear the way they talk, you start adopting. Hold on. I actually wrote a story about this. I wrote Philip Rivers used to say the word shoot all the time. And people in the locker room started saying shoot. There you go. Nick Shepard's on it. So I realized when I first got on the beat, Philip said, he says shoot all the time. And I noticed that everyone around him started saying shoot too. Like Austin Eckler was saying it all the time. Derek Watt was saying it all the time. Adrian Phillips, Hunter Henry, even Ken Wisenhunt was saying shoot. And I was like, hold on. It can't just be that all these people say shoot. They must have all adopted it from Philip. So I did like a linguistics investigation in the locker room to see if anyone realized why they started saying it. It turns out that everyone thought they started saying it because Philip was saying it. So there you go. But I like this guy. I like that term. It's like really. Oh, the Giants just score. This guy, very punchy. Big fan of that. Yeah, yeah. Andrew says soon you'll start saying I like Nick Saban. Well, I feel like Brandon got that from Nick Saban. We're really working hard for our program, all right? That was a really bad Nick Saban impression. A thick six. Who scored? Andrew Thomas scored? I need a replay. Let's go to Twitter. Oh my God, Andrew Thomas just scored a touchdown? I need someone to give me. I can't find it on Twitter. Somebody give me the play-by-play in the chat. Wow. South Jersey. Super Dude says he's from South Jersey. Where in South Jersey are you from? I know a lot of people from South Jersey. My girlfriend's from South Jersey. Marlton. Good stuff. A lot of people from the Cherry Hill area. All right. Oh, hold on. I got to find this. It sounds crazy. Oh, here we go. Play action boot. Shaq Barrett's home. Throws it up. Oh, how is he eligible? Hold on. Oh, they had him lined up at tight end? Let's go. Who said Jason Garrett's not creative? Okay, here's a good question. Why did Eckler run up the middle on 4th and inches? Stupid play call. So basically, what happened there, and I'll write about this in my final thoughts, which I'm going to get to tomorrow morning. But Frankie's being very difficult. He's the star of the show. Yeah. Hi. He's hungry for dinner. So yeah, basically on that play call, they had a QB sneak tag in the play call. So basically, if Justin got to the line of scrimmage and saw the look that he was looking for, then he could have ran the QB sneak. But they got to the line and they had 2 players in the A gap, 2 players in the B gap. It was all mugged up in the front. So they couldn't run the sneak. And the play call there then was a direct run up the middle. Now, the Steelers just collapsed on the interior to prevent that direct run. And Brandon told us today that there was a huge lane he felt to the outside. And so if Eckler was able to bounce that immediately to the outside, he would have had a huge gain. Now, I don't hate the play call. I love the decision. The decision was correct from a mathematical perspective. Um, and on top of that, the Chargers heading into this game were converting over 80% of their fourth and third and ones on the season. So, in terms of what the Chargers specifically do successfully, in terms of what the math said, it was a good decision. I like the play call. I would have liked to see a sneak, but if the look wasn't there, then it wasn't there. And you expect your offensive line, especially the left side of that offensive line, to get it done in that situation. And it just didn't work out. But it's got to be process over results, right? I like the process. Excuse me, sir. I'm trying to stream. Uh, I like the process. I like the decision making. I don't necessarily hate the play call. Um, if what Brandon Staley is saying is true, which I think it is, that the QB sneak look wasn't there. So that's the explanation there. Blocked punt play. Yeah, he explained that. I'll get that more in my final thoughts. But basically, Matt Overton didn't get vertical enough and didn't get make contact with the free rusher number 28, Miles Killebrew. Drew Tranquil could have stayed engaged on him a little bit more, but once that guy gets through the protection, it's up to the personal protector there to prevent the block punt. Like that's why he's there, is if someone slips through, especially from the A gap, to block that guy and allow the punter to get the punt off. Rookie Nick Niemann, was the personal protector on that play. He got distracted by an outside rush and did not follow his assignment correctly, which is, make sure that primarily you are protecting from an inside rush. So all three of those players were involved in some capacity. A more experienced personal protector probably makes that play and saves the punt. But Nick Niemann, was distracted by the outside rusher when he should have been concentrated on the inside. So that's how Brandon described it. Right. So Drew basically, there was a guy in front of him. Drew had two guys in front of him, and it seemed like Matt Overton, didn't. And so what Brandon said, didn't, get vertical enough, basically go and block the person in front of him the way he should have. So I think all those guys are at fault. But again, a lot of this comes down to inexperience. If you have a more experienced personal protector, something that Justin Jackson has done, you probably don't end up with a block punt there. All right, guys. I got to feed Frank. Any last questions? Throw them in the chat if you have any last questions. The 3rd and 3 call. Talking about early fourth quarter before the block punt. Is that what you're talking about when they were trying to hit Mike on the out and Justin just sailed it? Okay, yeah, that's the play you're talking about. All right, I have to watch the tape. I love being aggressive in that situation, putting the ball in Justin's hands. Would you have preferred them to run it in that situation? Is that what you're getting at? Keenan Holler, Tavon Campbell. Tavon Campbell is going to be the starter. Have I checked out Kenneth Walker from Michigan State? Yeah, he's like a Heisman candidate. I don't think the Chargers are going to draft a running back that high, with what they're paying Austin Eckler. How close are you to declaring Chargers fandom? I'm not close at all. I'm an objective reporter. Does anyone throw a prettier ball than Herb? Aaron Rodgers might. It was a longer pass, maybe 10 yards. Seems like there would have been better play calls. Maybe I'm nitpicking. Yeah, let me get back to you after I watch the tape, just because I have to see like what the route concept was, because there might have been something shorter and Justin just got off that read or whatever. So I'll have to get back to you on that. But you follow me on Twitter, so just remind me later in the week, and I'll let you know. All right. I think we're good. All right, let's wrap it up there. I got to feed Frank. He's freaking out. I don't know if you guys can hear him, but he is whining. We'll wrap it up there. Black Friday deal. If you missed it at the top of the stream, Black Friday deal is going on right now. $1 a month for 12 months. If you're not subscribed, click that link in the description. You'll get an athletic subscription to read all my stuff for the next year. So we won't stream until Sunday. Chargers are at the Broncos. Vic Fangio, mentor facing Brandon Staley, mentee. Obviously, going to be a fascinating chess match, X's and O's. But so we won't stream before Thanksgiving. So everybody have a great Thanksgiving. I'm going to be able to pop home and see my family, which I'm super duper excited about. Hug your loved ones. Be safe. Eat some turkey, mashed potatoes, stuffing, all that good stuff. And we will talk on Sunday night from Denver. Now, thanks to you guys, I'm going to make sure that I buy a 6-pack before going to the game so that I have a beer to do the stream with. That is going to be my correction. But have a great Thanksgiving, everybody. Appreciate you guys as always. Make sure you subscribe to The Athletic, and we will talk on Sunday. Peace out. Bye, Frankie.